Video number 10 of series of videos. There is a translation of Roman Karnukhov, nicknamed Akula, free energy device in his comments. Video number 8, 9 and 10. Till now they are videos. There is a critics that Akula makes towards the Tariel Capenazza. For those who are not familiar with the subject, Akula is young, brilliant, intelligent, and very much talented man who built the device that works without any power supply at all, and so far is able to give approximately 1500 watts from the devices that he so far presented. Tariq Capenazza is the person that I have personally met in Tbilisi, Georgia, Georgia, that's Europe, former Republic of Russia. Akula is from Kazakhstan, also former Republic of Russia. Tariq Capenazzi built a number of devices that works without power supply at all, and one of them I have witnessed by myself. I have seen it with my own eyes, and I confirm the device did not have any power supply, and the device was working in front of me for 35 minutes. And of course, till now, Tariq Capenazzi was able to give much more power than Akula. The critics that Akula makes, at least I believe, is made for us to understand where Tariel Capenazza was hiding his truth, so we don't know how the device is to be replicated and what part of the electronics was used simply to cover up his secret. Спасибо большое, Акула, за все. И начинаем трансляцию. We're gonna start translation. Akula presented to the public his schematic. There is a phase loop control base, and some of the people state that it's too complicated. Now, what I can say about it is there's a very simple device that could be made without most of the electronic at all, based on the generator who is using the spark gap. The spark gap envelope, when you draw it over the spectral width of the main frequency of the spark, it will work beautifully doing the same job. Although you can do it sophisticated way, which was utilized by Akula. Вы можете либо взять искру и можете сделать то же самое, не используя всей этой электроники, или вы можете сделать элегантной дорогой, которую использовал Роман. Okay, let's go further. And because of that fact, he is going to make a series of videos showing the concept of Capenazza for your review. As far as I understand, he's trying for us to make an assumption, and he is giving us the basis for it. That's what I have. That is my schematic. Okay, guys, that's what you're facing in here is me in Tariel's Capena's garage. The story is saying short. I was approached by Tariel Capenaz. I didn't contact him first. He contacted me first. And Tariel Capenaz asked me if I would be willing to come to him. And I did. I met Tariel Capenaz in Prague, but when I landed in Prague, at first, Prague, Czech Republic, in Europe, I've noticed two men following me. Complete idiots. They were not a government agency spies. They were simply idiots. I went up, they up. I went down, they went down. I let three taxis go, and then I took the next taxi, and I see the Skoda, which is the Czech Republic car, is following me. I drop on the ceiling, place 300 korun, which is their money. The driver made the left turn sharp. We lost that car. I met him in the Hotel Opera. There was nobody following us at all, but Tariel Capenaza said, let's go to the restaurant and we're gonna talk. So we went there. At that restaurant, I have made my famous video frame where Capenaza admits that he's gonna give the technology to the humanity. He never did so. Anyhow, later on, Tariel Capenaza told me that he is flying to Tbilisi the same very evening, so I made the telephone call and I bought the ticket on Rush. I paid a lot of money for it. And I went to Tbilisi with Tariq Capenaza. On my way to Tbilisi, both of us were poisoned. Because Tariq Capenaza had a nice drink of good vodka, he didn't eat too much. Only 10% of the food I ate, everything. We weren't poisoned by the stewards. But there was a guy 3 rows in front of me, maybe 4 rows in front of me, who actually picked up the food first because the stewards were going from the front of the plane, put the poison in, give it to us. At least that's from my analysis of what's happened. When I find out what's happened, at least I find out that I'm feeling bad. I went to the bathroom, looked at my face, and I was red. And I said to myself, you wanted to save the world, give them free energy, talk to the people who have it, and now you're dying. So I put 2 fingers to my throat and started to do my stuff. But the water in the faucet wasn't really flowing good, so I opened up the door, and next to the door in that small plane, we have a steward. I asked for the water, 5 liters of water, 1.5 gallon of water, and I was safe. Then at the end of it, I had a choice. Inform the authority. Although I have made the video frames, and that video frames are available on the internet from the time when I was poisoned. I was very cautious with the wording. So I had a choice at that time. Go to the authorities and lose my big chance to see the free energy device by Terry Capenaza, or just let it go. And that's what I did. Anyhow, the guy from a Latvian private entity who have had a contract with Terry Capenaza for 30,000 euro was waiting for me, hoping that I'm gonna go with my legs in front and horizontal position. I did not. Anyhow, that's what you see in here. Coming back to that is the device that was presented to me not by Tariel Capenaza because he was semi-conscious, but by his helper. I've seen Tariel Capenaza only the third day, in Saturday when I was about to fly out, and my plane was 4:30 in the morning, if I remember correctly. in Sunday. So at 4 o'clock, in 4 p.m. at Saturday, I went to Tarek Capenaz. He got the shot from the medical assistant who was there, and he became conscious. Was in really very bad shape. I thought that he's gonna die, and I showed that on the video. Tariel called his helper, and the helper did the job. About 2 o'clock in the morning, I was witnessing this device. Let's go to it. It was working for 35 minutes without any power supply. And to fool me, you gotta be goddamn good in this area. What Akula says right now is that everybody start to believe that this coil was making any sense, and this coil was used for any kind of purpose. Well, on the left hand side where my mouse is, you see the high voltage block. I call it stupid high voltage converter, whatever. It is mounted in the very much regular gas stove to give the series of the impulses of the high voltage to let the gas in. And the high voltage is simply snapped into the wire that is made out of the coaxial cable from here. But I remember the discussion that when Tariel Capenazze was talking to his helper said, I need the money to buy this part. And I said, okay, take $200. I even wanted to give $300. Take this money and buy it. He didn't want to take any money, but I told him, take the money. And when he was holding the money, he said, what am I going to do with this money? What am I going to buy for dollars? Anyhow, it was 4:15 evening time. Let's go further. This video everybody can see in the internet, and look at that video. Let's analyze the photographs. That's the wording of Akua. I would like to concentrate on this photograph. We see 3 wires, 1, 2, 3. And those wires are going out of the box. And this is the ground wire. And there is a thick orange wire. And this wire is connected with the yellow one, and the yellow one goes back to the box. And that's the samozapitka, which means self-looping. What it looks like. And now the red one goes to supposedly to be a coil. And this part supposedly is the coil. Well, this what you see in here. Maybe it is, but for me, it is a choke. And that's exactly the concept that I am using personally. That's the words of Akua. So we're gonna right now talk about this part, and this part of garbage stuff that is thrown in here. There's Akua's word. Part of those wires from that high voltage block goes beneath the insulation of that coil. And the next two wires goes beneath the insulation and goes here. And they go to the ground wire. So what he says is that based on his words, those wires from this side goes to the ground and those wires goes to the ground. So it doesn't matter what those wires do, all of those wires are grounded to the ground wire. Okay, here's the point. Those wires that you see, the thin wires, one is the trigger wire, and then you have two power wires. You gotta put the voltage of 12 volts in order to have the high voltage wire outside. Now inside that box you have a long transformer that has at one end high voltage, at the other one high voltage, and then the primer of that goes to the sort of circuitry that when the ground wire is not giving, I mean, in the typical application of the gas stove, when there is no sensing of the spark, that device is being sent. I mean, the request for the high voltage being sent to the device, and those thick wires that you can hear, this wire, right, and that wire gives the signal. So, um, if that was like Akua say, then of course, we may say that Tariq Capenazo, his helper, was so fancy that connect the ends of those wires and snap that to the coaxial cable. He did so much of the stuff for that to look nice. Well, he spent quite good few hours trying to get that device. And it was 4 o'clock Saturday when stores are usually closing. Do you think that that would be too much of effort for him just to go and look around and try to buy the stuff when he doesn't have it, just to make something that will be more garbage inside? There are plenty of other ways, cheaper ways to do that, but let's go further. Now, concentrate that wire again, and then you see that wire is going supposedly to the coil. Here and over there. Here and over there to the coil. It is also very easy to find out if that wire is having any role in that choke. So this is the choke based on Akua. And then you see two wires from the light bulbs connected to the ground. This is the ground wire. It is connected to the bunch of garbage from the gas stove. That's his wording. And goes to the box. And the plus wire goes like that, it goes through the coil and goes outside here. And this wire goes to the light bulbs. And there are two wires connected to the light bulbs. Let's go back. The light bulbs and the same wires that he was talking about. I mean, I was talking about the two glasses. And now we see the high voltage wires from the gas stove regulator. So this device gives actually the spark to light up the flame. And he says that it's very easy to find out two wires to the ground wire, and plenty of wires go up beneath that garbage. Now, what you gotta understand, this part is a garbage. This part in here is just I was so mad because when I hugged Ariel and he was really in bad shape, and I wish him the best, and I believed Ariel that he's gonna hold his word in exchange. When I spent a bunch of money just to come to him, in exchange I've got this, what I saw. And I told them, listen guys, I know what is garbage, what is not. Why are you doing that to me? Why are you not following? And he said, well, you gotta talk to Tariel, but Tariel is semi-conscious. You're not gonna be able to talk to him. You wanna wake him up? It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and you have a plane 4:50, whatever. I don't remember. But that happened to be a very much steady Tariel Capanazza trick. With many of the guys, he's always holding to the end. And then when you are in rush, now he's giving you the show. So what Tariel said, not Tariel, what Akua says that this is a bullshit. Yes. What he says in here that he spoke, Akua said that he spoke to me, and he asked me the question, and I answered the question. I didn't see that that circuitry working. That means there was no keys, no nothing. It was silence. Yes, that's right. But guess what? In my place, I have two gas stoves, and you cannot hear them working. I have exactly the same, for instance, the heating, for the central heating and the hot water, and I don't hear the hiss. Yes, I can, I can see the flame. There is something like yes, where the spark is going on, but you understand this is permanently connected to the bright of the coaxial cable. You cannot hear something that is shorted. In other words, if we say that this wire is going to the bright, and this wire, those are two outputs. This is one output, this one is one output. And this one in here is the second one. Now, so what I'm saying is, okay, this one, oh, I'm sorry, this one is going here. This is one output, and this is the second output. Now, this wire is the middle wire. so it's ground. Anyhow, one wire is going to the chassis of the furnace, and two wires are going from two sides of the spark, giving the spark to light up the flame. If you now put one end in here to the bright, and the second one put to internal wire in here, as long as the um, dielectric constants of that white part of the coaxial cable is strong enough that it was not giving the spark, you will not hear the spark. So I don't buy that explanation from Akula. Okay, so what Akula says now is that since I said that I didn't hear the spark, that means this block was never used for anything at all. And it's a bullshit that was implemented in here. Well, if I could say that if I could say that he's right for the moment. I recall one moment on one of the videos, I picked up that particular block and hold it in my hands. So, if my hand was close to the high voltage, and I didn't really, I didn't feel the high voltage or any shock or anything. Yeah, that would be the doubt that I could give that really maybe that didn't work. But maybe because I'm working with the high voltage for years, I was cautious enough to know how to catch it. Okay, what he says is that you see that this part of the coil is simply wrapped with the insulation, so this part is separate and this part is separate. That's what he says. So he says this part was winded separately, and the coaxial cable was winded separately. So now we could understand, спасибо, Akua, that the coaxial cable was winded from the very in the inner diameter to the very out. And he says that they used the coaxial cable because when they were looking for the cable, they didn't have any cable in this garage to do the job, so they used coaxial cable. Okay, so what he says is the high voltage part and this part is a piece of garbage and bullshit. That's his wording. You can see that the ground wire is going inside the box and the plus wire is going out of the box. It is connected to the yellow wire and it goes back to the box. And that looks like samozapitka, which means self-looping. So, self-looping, for those who do not know, is the part of the energy that is going from the output is returned to the input and is powering the device back, so the device could work. And then the red wire is going here and then going inside, so it's going here, it's going out. That would actually be that he says that this wire is going inside beneath that electric tape and going outside here, and it's connected to the light bulb. So he says one more time, this is just a choke, if that part was ever used for anything. Let's go forward. What he says is that there are 3 wires, and possibly there is a relay inside that box. That you hear the click from that relay inside the box when you connect those wires. Okay, I gotta come back to it because I recall a lot of stuff. What was there? At first, this wire was connected with the white wire. So before the guy who's helping, I know his name, but I don't want to say the name right now. And not because I want to hide something, because I just don't want some guys who don't like free energy professionals just to hunt him anyhow. One of these wires was connected with the white wire together. So this helper took those 2 wires, connect them together. Then he held it for 3 to 5 seconds. Then he took this wire and connected with this wire. Then, after he did so, he took the battery charger and connect from here to over there. Now, before he did so, what he did is he touched those 2 those 2 wires together, creating the spark, and you could hear the spark. Click, 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 click. He did so. And then he connected for a few seconds to those 2 wires and to this wire. And the device started working. Now, here's what is about the click. There are 2 scenarios. One of the scenarios is that Tariel Capenaza helper on purpose was making a spark on the high current wires from the battery chargers, so I could hear the click. And eventually, when he connects those 2 wires to the chargers, when there is a click from the relay, I would notice that that click from the relay is not the click that is a click when I hear the spark. That's one of the scenario. Another scenario is that when he connect that what you hear was part of that spark that he made before. There's a plenty of speculation here, but let's go further. You can see in here, so the ground wire here is going with the yellow wire. So you see here the yellow wire, right, is going here, and is going here to this part. So in this part you see a piece of the metal. And that's the transformer. And what he says, you have in here the resonance transformer of Melnichenko. And the concept of Melnichenko is based on Nikola Tesla patterns. I was making so many videos about this concept, this transformer, so you can take a look at that. So there are many layers of wire in it, a multi-core transformer without back EMF. Let's go for it. And you see in here the plus wire, and is going right to the light bulbs. Well, I see the wire going here, here, but he says this wire, which is different than this wire, he says this wire is going here and it's going here to the light bulb. Well, that's his words. Okay, so he says in here you can see the high voltage coil, which is the thick wire from the coaxial cable, is not used at all. And that's what I have as a schematic. This is our high voltage bullshit. This is another bullshit. Okay, all you have is just the red wire. There is a positive plus wire that is going inside that coil, and it's going to the light bulb. And then from the light bulb it's going to the ground wire. What is in here? That's my question. Okay, so it looks like Aqua didn't give us explanation what could be in here. He said, just take a look by yourself. I gotta say a few words to Akula. Большое спасибо, Роман, за то, я пытался очень верно. Да, Роман, ну что ж, получается, какая ситуация? У Тарьеля что-то, он сидит, никому не отдает. У тебя что-то, ты начал что-то отдавать. На самом деле ты ничего не отдаешь. Да, обидно. Почему? Потому что все равно украдут. Короче, нет, это была шутка. Слушай, дорогой мой. Безопасность только в группе. Помни мои слова. Желаю тебе всего наилучшего. Большое спасибо тебе за все. Надо начинать твой бизнес. Ставь это в интернет, как надо сделать. Ничего больше не добивайся. Этих патентов ничего больше. Только потеря времени. Молодой ты есть. И в моем возрасте у тебя будет уже все. Хотя бы один, который мне послушал. До конца, ну, неважно, посмотрим. Давай, научим. Еще забыл. Я тебе могу обещать, когда я кончу свой Колман, который ничего общего не имеет с Тарелом Капеназе и с тобой, не будет никаких вопросов, не будет никаких подозрений и так далее. Я это отдам. Почему? Не потому, что я такой добрый, только потому, что я умный. Всех все равно не обеспечишь. За 2 стола не садишься и на 2 кроватях спать не будешь. Достаточно, хватит. Достаточно денег можно сделать на это. Один Кольман меньше, чем $1. Но когда его продаешь, $1000. За один день можно сделать 1000. За один день есть $1 миллион. А завтра и следующий день. И что ты думаешь? Я хочу патенты делать? Нет. Я не жадный. Посмотрим, какими есть другие, включая в это тебя. Спасибо большое, дорогой друг.